Hello everyone, Batty here. Welcome to this new series of videos that will be an introduction to my future fantasy world building project called Blossoms of the Void. Now I've been working on this project for quite some time and I've already posted some videos on it. But this series will tackle more in-depth stuff regarding my project. This includes the story, the characters, the setting, the flora and fauna, the nightmares, the various kinds of magic, and much more. This first video will be a broad and general introduction to this project so it can help you learn more about this world I have been cooking up. Blossoms of the Void is a future fantasy horror world building project and hopefully soon to be webcomic that takes place within an alternative version of Earth. Due to certain geologic events and mass extinctions happening differently and with different outcomes, this has allowed some extinct flora and fauna to still survive, while some modern day familiar faces do not exist. Now, what exactly do I mean by this? What's different about this Earth? What critters still exist? Well, we'll start there. Here's Earth as we know it and love it. Everyone you know, every animal, everything we experience is here. Now let's look at the Earth from Blossoms of the Void. Looks similar, but you can already immediately see the differences. The landmasses are in similar spots, but you can already see that they clearly have different shapes and geographies. We'll be going much more in depth with these places once we talk about the setting in a future video, but let's go over a brief overview of these continents so you can be familiar. All these continents are named after real and fictional lost lands, except for one. We'll start here with Adria. This is the equivalent to Africa in this world. It is named after the real lost landmass of Greater Adria. Over there are the islands of Atlantis and Lemuria, and Avalon is just over here. Next up is the largest continent, Mu. This is named after a fictional landmass made by an admittedly crazy man. This continent can be divided into Eastern and Western Mu. Western Mu is alternatively known as Doggerland. Over here we have Sunda, named after the lost land that once connected Southeast Asia to its largest islands. Despite its position, this is the equivalent to Asia, mostly the eastern and southern portions. Next door is Pariah. This is the only one not named after a lost land because its name comes from a very early name of North America before it was discovered that the two were connected. This is obviously South America, weird extinct animals included. In this corner is the isolated continent of Sahul. Although being very similar to Australia, this landmass is particularly weird. Weirder than Australia normally is. This continent is a refugium for many very ancient organisms, as it's been disconnected from the world since the late Permian. It is named after Sahul, which was the landmass that once connected Australia to New Guinea and Tasmania. Lastly, we have Australis, this icy and barren hellscape. This is named after Terra Australis, which is what Australia is named after. What about the plants and animals, you may ask? Well, that will be touched on in more depth when we get into it. I plan on making dedicated videos for each species. Now, we're almost done. We're going to briefly mention the magic systems of this project. This will be the subject of the next videos. There are 3 types of magic. The first is called Spirit. This is the most inherently magical one of them all. The second is called Thaumaturgy. This is based heavily on historical and fantastical forms of alchemy. The third does not have a name just yet, but it is essentially godly magic. We'll talk about Spirit first in the next video. Lastly is the Nightmares. These are the monsters of this project, and they'll get their own special video for Halloween. Nightmares are attracted to human negativity, especially fear and anger. They only hunt humans, and as far as anyone is aware, they just showed up one day and no one is really sure why. They've been around for a couple million years, first appearing early into the existence of the first Homo species, Homo habilis. That is about it for this very brief introduction. If you liked this video, then make sure you tap that like button and feel free to subscribe with notifications on if you're interested in more content. Thank you and goodbye.